Hello, welcome to... Oh, God.
There's your intro.
Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast. What we think is probably about the penultimate podcast now, isn't it? One next week before the cup final, and I think other than the live, I think that's it. It's the penultimate one in the booth, definitely.
Are we not doing one after the cup final?
Oh yeah, I suppose we could. So it's not the podcast.
What an excellent start.
Ignore that. I got Tom's timing wrong of when he's going to Germany. So yeah, we're on the home straight though, aren't we?
We are. And just before we start, I know this is a bit self-indulgent, but I mean, if you've been with us this long, you know that this podcast is a little bit self-indulgent.
It's no more It's definitely not as self-indulgent as the Birmingham Mail. Rollo's just taken over, getting his pals in to talk about life.
Hasn't got me in. So what does that mean?
Speaks volumes.
It does. Just to say thank you to anybody that sent us a little message or public or DM. I don't know about you, I felt quite overwhelmed by it all, to be honest.
I did. I got a bit emotional, if I'm being honest. I don't get emotional very often.
No, it's just really weird to hear how kind of important this podcast has been and the channel has been to people's lives. So I don't want to go on about it, but anybody that did take the time to just say thank you, it's just ridiculous. Even the people that you think don't like you send you nice messages, which is
What are you talking about me texting you?
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it.
I've had a lot of DMs and I will reply to them all. I've replied to a few, but I'm making my way through them
it's
at
difficult.
the moment. Yeah, it is. And as you say, it's absolutely crazy that it means so much to people. We'd have never envisaged that.
Yeah.
When we started, it's really nice, and the live has sold out, hasn't it? So
yes.
Looking forward to meeting a lot of people that listen to the podcast in a few weeks.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It kind of sold out within 24 hours, I think. Yeah. We've held a few tickets back, so if you haven't got a ticket and you really want one, send us an email. A few people have already done that, and I am in the process of sorting those tickets out, particularly for guys that are abroad and coming for the final.
Some big hitters going, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got people coming from Melbourne, from America.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, Martin Carswell sent a message.
Nice.
So a bunch of people come from all over the place. Also,
Detroit villain.
Yeah. There's been a couple of guys that have bought tickets to give away, essentially, because they can't come, and so they've kind of donated them back just to give the money to the foundation, which is really nice. We're going to have an auction, a raffle, a couple of other bits and pieces as well, hopefully a couple of guests. It's going to be a really, really good event, isn't it? I hope.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to it. So if you have got a ticket, brilliant. If you have got a ticket and you can't go, let us know, because obviously we want to get as many people there as possible, but we're just really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, and you're looking good in your Kappa jacket.
So we went up on Sunday. We will get to the game.
I really don't want to. I'm quite happy to not talk about the game. I think there was a few tweets that said just don't talk about the game.
I saw
talk about anything.
Well, we'll talk about the jacket for a second, because I saw everyone saw the Kappa retro range come out, and I was like, I need to see that. And to be fair, like a lot of people saying the quality of the Kappa gear has not been very good, which is totally fair enough. The badge has been skewed, but this is nice. And went into the old mega store,
the club shop.
The club shop, yeah, completely lost it. Just want to say thank you to Ellie, who looked after me, which was very nice of her. And you're very jealous, aren't you, of the old top?
Yeah, I should have gone into the shop, learnt my lesson. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it before the live event.
Oh, yeah.
I know Rollo's been given it as a gift by a special someone as well yesterday as well, so I can't be the only one that hasn't got it, because I'm sat here in an old Under Armour jacket because I knew you'd wear that. So I thought I'm going to put a jacket on as well, because I know Tom will turn up in that Kappa jacket. It's not often he's ahead of the curve in terms of fashion.
That's what I enjoy so much.
He's going to take advantage, but this isn't even claret.
No.
What colour is this?
It looks very pink on the screen.
It does. I've always thought it was an okay claret until I saw it next to that claret. Luke Roper got the claret bang on.
Yes, he
last season. I don't think that's really been replicated over the years.
Brought it back into the right. What is it? Colour. That'll do. I was going to say something and I can't remember what it was.
We should say you're hungover.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Basically, since I kind of confirmed that I was leaving, it's been leaving drinks steadily through, and now I'm also in a bit of trouble because I ended up going out a little bit later than I thought I would. Then I have to get up at 6 to be here.
And then you've had a nightmare journey as well.
The whole thing's been a shambles, and we got a 3-2 painful defeat to talk.
And
about.
I'm ill. I've woke up ill this morning. Right. I think I've got tonsillitis. It makes sense that me and Tyrone would both get tonsillitis as we're on similar regimes.
Yeah, both are athletes.
So, yeah, it's to be expected, isn't it?
Not ideal that you told me that this morning. I feel a little bit nervous.
Why? Because you don't want it?
Yes.
I mean, I'm moving house this week. I don't really want it either.
Doesn't bother me. You've already got it.
You worried about the being in the close
Yes.
proximity of the booth?
Very much so. Yes. So let's get this done because I want to get out of this contamination chamber. So we went up on Sunday after the winter break. Kind of, Spurs have been in decent form. I think they picked up the most amount of points, or most amount of points since Mourinho arrived. So in decent form, but the kind of winter break chucks everything out.
They'd won the last two, hadn't they, going into the game?
Yeah, and obviously Villa coming off the Bournemouth defeat and just looking a little bit ragged, to be honest. We just didn't have the kind of... We needed to beat Bournemouth, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we need to take something on Sunday as well.
Yeah, well, Dean Smith said before the game that he was happy with the winter break. He thought it was a good time for players to kind of get rejuvenated, and obviously that didn't work because Tyrone Mings had tonsillitis.
You go to the UAE, which I think is where he went, and you get bloody tonsillitis.
Yeah.
What are the chances? I mean, I think I've picked it up, but I've obviously not been to a fancy holiday destination.
No.
Unbelievable.
That is very frustrating.
It's supposed to be a rest and recuperation. It's not his fault.
No.
It's just really annoying. It's typical of all the people to get it as well.
And so we're looking at the team sheet and going, no, Mings. That's a worry, isn't it? And it turned out to be true. We'll obviously get on to Bjorn Engels a lot.
I'm not gonna hammer him.
I said to you several times through the game.
It was a running joke.
I thought he had a good game, and to be fair, I think he did, apart from two massive clangers.
That's the thing. Now you have a good game, but the things you'll be remembered for are the two goals that have come down from your actions, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
I feel for him. I've seen a few people on social media saying, "Oh, well, you shouldn't feel sorry for them. You should be hammering them. If I make a mistake in my job, then I get in trouble." That's not the way I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that. I'm frustrated. The game, it still feels very raw to me. Like, I don't think I've got over it. Like, I've been in a bad mood since the game, really.
Oh, I think it's the nature of the defeat, isn't it? Where we're kind of accepting of a 2-2, and there's even chances where we might nick it. And then to watch Son just run round, and because Engels makes this mistake, and the whole ending to it was just ugly.
The annoying thing is, I think you'll agree with me here, and we'll thank, obviously, the people that gave us the hospitality on Sunday, but we're sat there at the end of the game, 92nd minute, Rainer's telling the ball boys to slow down.
Yeah.
We'd just come round to, points okay. We'll take that in the grand scheme of things, 2-2.
Yeah.
We'll take that. 1 minute later, we're losing 3-2. We definitely won't take that.
Yeah, the way it's come as well is just such a big... It's a hoof from, I think it's Sanchez or someone, and it, like, the way Engels tries to control
it makes
just
no sense.
Baffles me. It's like he kind of just tries to trap it with his studs. It's a bouncing ball, just slips underneath straight away, and then a striker of Son's quality is just not making a mistake from there.
Yeah, I watched the game back yesterday, and I just can't for the life of me work out how that was the best way to go for the ball. You either stick your foot through it and smash it, or you bring it down normally.
Yeah.
It just doesn't... Like, I play 7-a-side every Friday. I'm not a good footballer, but I did score a good volley on Friday. That's a different story. But I would never try and bring the ball down like that.
Yeah.
And it just seemed such an awkward way to try and control the ball in the pressure situation of stoppage time in a game that we needed to take something. It's just, I don't know whether it's rustiness, tiredness.
I think it's tiredness. I mean, the Villa defence had been under a lot of pressure the last
Conser had one about 10-15 minutes before where I can't remember if he actually went through his foot, but he let one run, and we nearly got punished.
We talked about it on the way home. Villa have conceded the most amount of goals in the Premier League, 50, I think it is now.
Yeah.
And
in 26 games.
In 26 games, and you just can't be conceding 3 at home. I know it's against Spurs. Spurs are a good team, but again, we come from a position leading, obviously, albeit very early, but we're not turning draws into wins and losses into draws. We're doing the reverse of that. We're dropping points at every opportunity, and I felt for the first time on the drive home on Sunday that relegation was more likely than staying up.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I don't like coming on here and being negative. It's just you can't keep conceding 2+ every single game and stay up. There's too much pressure on the attacking players. I mean, obviously Engels scored, but there's too much pressure on trying to score goals. If you need to score 2 just to draw a game every week, at least 2, it's not sustainable.
No,
and I think it's not comfortably we're the worst, but 50s, with the first into the 50s in the league, and like teams like Southampton who shipped 9 in one game, they've conceded less goals than us. And
you mentioned Southampton, that just becomes a huge. I mean, it was already a huge game, but now going to Southampton to get something.
Away form's so bad as well.
Exactly.
Though, like the home games, we look good. We actually played well. There was a lot to like about that performance going forward, especially first half. 1-0 up, and I thought they couldn't live with us. I thought we played with a real intensity that I'd not seen too many times.
For the first 30 minutes, Villa are in relative control. You know, Spurs always look dangerous on the break, but Grealish was just magic. You know, Aurier couldn't live with him. Should have been booked.
We called that out as well, didn't we, in the preview? As
I think
an
you
avenue.
did, to be fair.
I'd like to give us joint credit for that, Tom. Thank you, though.
He should have been booked, I think, Aurier.
He could have been booked 3 times.
Early doors. But Grealish, everything he did was just brilliant. And El Ghazi looked lively as well, had a couple of chances himself, obviously put the ball in for the own goal as well. And it just looked like we were playing really dynamic football.
Samatta was very good in the first half as well, really impressive.
I really like the way Samatta... He seems to have the game intelligence. He makes good runs and people find him, and he just seems to know where to be.
He's a willing runner, and he was bringing people into play quite nicely. When you thought he was going to get crowded out by the Spurs defence, he managed to come out and give someone the ball, which I thought was quite impressed with.
Yeah,
I just thought he was very, very good. Didn't necessarily look a massive goal threat.
No,
I would say, but in all, he was bringing people into play, which is the bare minimum, really, isn't it, for a centre forward? Again,
he had a huge role in the first goal, because without him there, Alderweireld doesn't make that mistake. And again, El Ghazi puts a wonderful ball in, and it's that run to the front post, which I think we've been lacking that all season. I think that's it seems to me like an obvious opportunity. Put the ball in and hit the front post, and you just need a little nick or something, and it causes Lloris issues. And Lloris looked at 6s and 7s. He didn't know where to be. And obviously Alderweireld just directs the ball into his own net. Yeah, it was a good ball in from El Ghazi. Obviously, it took a little bit of a nick on the way through. But like you say, Samatta was there. He caused problems. He forced the mistake, and we get a goal from it. And then from then on, you're thinking we might score a second here. I mean, looking at it, we'd probably still got on and lost the game because we just can't seem to not concede. No, but you talk about that 20 minutes in, again, it's Grealish, the architect, absolutely beats Alderweireld into a pulp down the left-hand side, puts the ball across. Douglas Luiz, it's begging to go in, and Luiz gets his shot on target, fair play to him, but Ben Davies is in the way. Douglas Luiz should do better with that. Yeah, he's got to score that. I think if he's on his right foot, he scores probably. Yeah, but he's on his left foot, so he's obviously tried to think about it a little bit more because it's not his strongest foot. It's a good block, but he almost took too long to shoot. He was trying to be too precise. He finished the other week against Watford. He lashed it into the roof of the net. It almost needed some kind of lash. Yeah. I think it was too precise, and it's given Ben Davies and Lloris time to position themselves. It's gone down the middle of the goal, hasn't it? That's it. Essentially, which is the problem. People miss chances, but it's a big chance. Yeah, it is. And when we've talked about this so much. When you're an unlucky team, unlucky teams get relegated, and that just felt like one of those chances. You put that away, 2-0 up, half an hour gone. You know, there's still a lot of time to let it slip, but you know, you're in a stronghold, and what happens in the next 15 minutes is an absolute disaster. I feel like with the architects of our unluckiness. Well, a lot of times, though. Defensively, I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, we have made high-profile mistakes. Obviously, VAR's played a part. Obviously, there's been other factors. But ultimately, it kind of comes down to single mistakes where we go, oh, that seems unlucky. But you know, if you don't make the mistake, it doesn't happen. It's a frustrating game, and when you're down there, just everything seems to go wrong. I said on Twitter yesterday, there's a lot to like about this Villa team. Like, even though people have made mistakes, you still like them, don't you? You want them to do well, but there is some deficiencies that I think will probably cause us to get relegated because it just hasn't stopped. At the start of the season, you could almost not forgive it, but you almost at the start of the season thought, oh, they're getting used to it. These mistakes will stop as the season goes on, but really that they haven't. I know when you're a fan of a football team, you think all goals against you are avoidable, but there really is a high proportion of goals that have come from Villa's mistakes, and it's not sustainable. But it's happened so much, and it's happened continuously through the season. I don't see it stopping, and
the nature of some of the players. I mean, Conser and Hawes, for example, they've not played much or Engels. Really, all three of them playing three at the back. How many Premier League games have they got between them?
Yeah, not a lot.
It's probably less than 25. I would say between them. It's not their fault, because we knew that was the recruitment strategy that we've made in January and the summer. But I was all for three at the back when we first did it, but I'm starting to think now, I think we need to move away from it, because we're still getting the same problems with three at the back.
Yeah, my argument to that, and I'm going to counter myself, is that if you bring Mings into that, it looks more solid.
Yeah, agreed.
And yet, we're still shipping goals. With Mings, for the most of the season, we've still conceded the most goals in the Premier League.
I like Conser and Hawes, but I feel like they're too hurried sometimes. They can, if teams put them under pressure, they can be a bit aimless with the ball. Mings sometimes does too much, the opposite, but generally he'll still use the ball well under pressure, and he'll get himself out of tight spaces. The other two just aren't as good on the ball as him. I actually think Engels is the next best centre back on the ball.
I do too.
I was surprised to learn that he wasn't actually going to play anyway. He only was in because Mings was out. He was going to stick with Conser and Hawes. So if we're staying with this back three, you think that they're the three now: Mings, Hawes, and Conser. But I actually like Engels. I think for me he's our next best centre back. I know he's made 2 mistakes, but I think he's our next best centre back. And he's not played many games recently. Like, you can look to say he's made mistakes, but he's barely played since November. Like, there's going to be an element of rustiness there, especially towards the end of the game when fatigue kicks in as well. You become mentally tired and physically tired. You're probably going to make mistakes.
If you look back to the start of the season, we were talking about Mingles as this partnership that could be a Villa Premier League partnership for 4 or 5 years to come.
Yeah.
And now,
like you say, though, even then we were doing silly things and conceding goals.
We were, but I don't really know what's happened to Engels' stock that's dropped so far that he now doesn't even start in the back three.
He just fell down the pecking order. He got ill.
He got ill, but I agree with you that I think with regular games he's still our second best centre back.
For me, he is. Yeah, I'm still annoyed we got rid of Chester.
You were saying that on Sunday, weren't you? That you would have liked to see Chester in that side.
I understand why it's all happened, and it's as much his decision, if not more, his decision than the club's. But if you're playing three at the back, you need 5 centre backs minimum.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science, is it? And didn't have a centre back on the bench on Sunday, so if an injury had occurred during the game, we'd have had to have changed formation, I presume, unless you're going to play Neil Taylor at left centre back or Elmo at right centre back or something like that. But I just feel at this point of the season, I think Chester so far is playing for Stoke, so he's managing to play.
They lost though, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost it for.
Yeah,
which isn't the best example, but do you know what I mean? He's playing,
sure.
So he's fit enough to play.
Yeah.
So we could do with him around the place, and losing that leadership and that character and someone who knows the club, who knows different situations around Bodymore and things like that. I just think it's a big loss. That is
what it is. So half an hour, Toby Alderweireld makes up for his own goal with a unbelievable finish. The ball bubbles around from a corner and it hits Lucas Moura, and on the spin Alderweireld hits this absolute rocket on the half volley. Reina, no chance, hits the roof of the net, and Spurs are back in it.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you saying about us being a little bit unlucky is true, because in that game, 99 times out of 100, there's no way Alderweireld does that.
It's
He's never done that before. I've not seen him score a goal like that since he's been playing in the Premier League, and he'll probably never do it again. It's like Engels, he will never do that again. But 2 goals have come from things that 99 times out of 100 don't happen. It's a great finish.
It's a beautiful finish.
You see his interview after the game, he's saying that like he's just had a baby and he's knackered, basically. Yeah. It feels like he shouldn't have been playing, is basically what he was saying.
So I only found that out.
Tongan on the bench as well.
Yeah, I only found that out yesterday that he'd had a baby in the week, and because I thought he had a relatively poor game. Obviously, he scored the own goal and got done for Grealish for what could have been the second goal when he crosses Luis. And I felt like he was out of sorts kind of throughout. It makes sense now. I remember how tired you are the first week. But he's playing Premier League football. And then, like I said, I guess that's the difference between Premier League, like world-class players, and the kind of lower-class players. It's just the fitness and stuff, you get better as you go up the game, but like that instinct to be able to strike a ball like that, and just the quality.
He's a classy player usually.
It's such a good finish, and as I say, Reina has no chance with it, and it's just one of those where it could have so easily gone into the hole, and it doesn't. It goes into the back of the net.
It's another goal as well, where set piece, annoying, the bad habits that we've talked about previously that we keep on doing. Kind of bobbled around a little bit, didn't it, before it landed at him as well. Perhaps we could have been a bit more switched on and cleared it. I mean, one thing we haven't spoke about was the rundown of the first time. We spoke about Drinkwater.
Yeah, I was waiting.
People have asked about it.
I wasn't sure when to bring it up because he had a bad game.
Well, see, I thought that, but then I watched the game back. He actually did some nice things. I'm not saying he had a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but he did do some nice things. My dad said to you, you said that you thought he had a good game. A few other people I've seen on Twitter say that they thought he was good as well.
I haven't watched it back. I couldn't bring myself to watch it back.
I don't know what I was thinking. I wonder if I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So we come out of the game just going, and he gets hooked at 55 minutes or so. Drinkwater.
Yeah, an hour in. I think he was gone.
And to me, he played some nice passes. He played the through ball to Samatta, where Samatta's running down the channel. That was a nice ball, I think. And he does a couple of nice things, but he gave the ball away so much. And that was the problem with him and Douglas Luiz, actually. Again, Luiz had some nice moments, but he also gave the ball away a little bit.
Plus, I didn't really notice it that much with Luiz.
Really?
As much, maybe because Drinkwater was doing it so much that I didn't notice it.
I thought we caused ourselves issues in the centre of the park by not being able to control the game, and Drinkwater was certainly part of that issue.
I can't work out,
but
as a two-man midfield in front of a back three, what you spoke, it's difficult, isn't it? You kind of, I imagine you get caught in between, pushing forward and sitting back quite a lot, not knowing what to do.
The weird thing was, as I was going to come on to say, is that we left going, Drinkwater had a poor game, and then
you were influenced by Stephen Day.
No,
my friend sitting with us.
Well,
he was hammering him all game.
He was hammering him, but I agreed with him, I think. Yeah. And I mean, I had a couple of purities at that point.
More than a couple.
But what was I saying? But then we got to your house, and your dad was like, Drinkwater, best game I've seen, which could possibly be true as well. But
one thing I'll say for him,
yeah,
everyone who's listened to this podcast for 3 years will know this. When someone's getting a hard time, I don't like to just wade in on and give even more stick. I think the effort's there. The effort is 100% there.
Oh yeah, he was sweating.
He's blowing most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, he's not shirking. He's not hiding from getting the ball. He's working hard. He's just off the pace.
We had a bit of
that's not his. If he's being picked and he's off the pace, you got to look at it and say, that's not his fault. He didn't fit the team.
We had a bit of a philosophical discussion on the way home about Drinkwater, and coming from Leicester, being a big part of that title-winning side.
Bad decision.
Then going to Chelsea, picking up a fortune essentially, but not playing. So you're just training in the morning. And I know there's going to be people listening going, "You can't feel sorry for these."
Well,
footballers.
I said to you, it'd be a nice problem to have.
Yeah, but the temptations and the motivation factor and all that kind of stuff. I don't think you can imagine what life is like if you're...
Yeah, you can't put yourself into their shoes because you don't know.
You're a highly motivated individual that has worked their whole career to be at the top of the game, and now you're not playing, you go training, and you've got a huge amount of free time. The mind mess, I was going to say something else that I shouldn't have, the mess that you've got to be so strong psychologically. I think it'd just be really fascinating, I think, to know Danny Drinkwater better and know what his life was like and how that's been. Because again, I'm not saying you should feel sorry for any footballer.
He wants to come down to Germany.
But yeah, maybe he needs it. But do you know what I mean? And now he's back in the team at Villa, and like you say, he's working hard. He's trying his best. I also feel a little bit sorry for Nakamba because I don't think he necessarily did too much wrong to be out.
He wasn't that great against Bournemouth, I would say.
But nobody's that great.
I know. Maybe my views tarnished a bit by the fact he had 2 shots from the edge of the box that pretty much cleared the roof.
Yeah.
That's not his game, is it? But I think I said to you before the game, playing against a top 6 side, this is the one where you think Nakamba should be playing because he's the ball winner in there. And he did win the ball a few times when he came on, made a nice block as well.
In conclusion to the Drinkwater thing and the Nakamba thing, I don't really know what the answer is because, like you say,
I don't really know what our best midfield is, to be honest.
Exactly. He's trying to get fit, Drinkwater. You get match fit by playing. We were having this conversation at half time. Some of the boys reckon that you can get match fit. If you want to, you get fit, whether you play or not.
He does want to.
Yeah. But it's a different level, isn't it? Being like fit enough to play and then playing against Spurs and having to deal with Harry Winks.
I mean, the first game he was chucked in against, which has got him off to a bad start and has got the fans on his back early.
Yeah.
He's put in against Man City, who obviously played us off the park, which was a silly decision.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been playing in that game. I understand you want to play him to fitness. Don't put him in against De Bruyne and Gundogan and whoever else was playing in that game. Don't put him up against them because he's just fighting a losing battle from the start. A certain element of fans will write him off from the start. I'm not sitting here and saying he's been good because he hasn't been, but getting on his back and stuff now isn't going to do us any favours.
No, I agree. So Spurs get the equaliser and then they build themselves into the game. They become more and more, I wouldn't say dominant necessarily, but their chances become quite clear-cut, don't they?
We're playing a very high line here.
Son, Ali, Bergwijn, they all have chances, and it feels a bit nervy, doesn't it? Because every time they come forward, Lucas Moura looked very lively. It just feels like we're going to get exposed.
That's what I'm saying here. You've got 3 centre-backs and 2 central midfielders who are both, I would say, deep midfielders.
Yeah.
But yet teams that are just waltzing through us, through the middle of the park. Like in the formation plan, the wing-backs obviously play high up, so a lot of the time they're going to get caught high up the pitch because they're providing them with. But you know what I'm saying about, should it be that easy to get through that wall of 5?
No.
Like the 3 and then the 2? No. Should it be that easy? Just cut through time and time again? But it doesn't seem to matter what formation we play. That just seems to happen.
Yeah. I guess it comes down a little bit to, well, there's a couple of things. It's form, you know, the kind of confidence of these players. Maybe there's a little bit of, you know, when things aren't going right, you feel a little bit, I don't know, you're just off it.
Surely when you're like that, you sit back a little bit more.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
No, because like I say, every formation we've played, I felt like teams have waltzed through us without having to do a fat lot.
I think, how many players do you think who played on Sunday would start in August in the Championship?
What?
As in, if we go down this summer, how many players are still there from that starting 11? I think quite a few, which is concerning. Like in terms of the defensively, Raymond will obviously be gone, but the back 5 would probably be the same.
Yeah, probably fair.
Which is concerning. Because we're conceding.
You'd probably say they'd be comfortable in the Championship.
But that's what I mean. They're a Championship back 5. It's essentially what I'm trying to get back to.
I think the 2 wing backs are Premier League players, definitely.
I think
Constance will develop into a Premier League player. He's perhaps not quite there at the moment, but he will be a Premier League player.
I agree, but when you're in a relegation dogfight, we don't need to be developing players. I like Conser a lot, but
I would also say there's a lot of garbage in the Premier League. A lot of players have been Premier League players over the years who I've never thought that great.
Sure, but if 4 of your back 5 are what you think would be comfortable in the Championship, that to me is a little bit of a concern.
That comes down to recruitment again, and you have to look at what we did in the summer and whether it was that Sava.
Yeah.
Which come the end of the season, if we stay up, you'll get away with it. If we go down, everyone will go back to the recruitment. I mean, Trezeguet, for example, he came on. So I don't remember him touching the ball.
He had a chance, and Grealish put a lovely ball across, and again he just missed that kind of sharpness and just couldn't get on there. Whether that's being a sub and being a bit cold, but yeah,
we're missing a couple of wise heads, I would say. I will still never understand why in goal we felt it so important to go and get someone with Premier League experience, but then did not replicate that anywhere else in the recruitment in the summer.
Yeah,
I find that bizarre. Like that's almost like saying. Well, it's not almost like saying anything. If you need that the goalkeeping department, why don't you need that anywhere else?
Yeah, agreed. Particularly up top. Let's get to half time because we're diverging.
Tom Julian's guzzling purities down in the 15-minute window at this point.
Well, just before that, Engels. Engels brings down Bergwijn. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and. Martin Atkinson doesn't give it. I think Martin Atkinson's had a poor game at this point.
Yeah, you were on you a little bit about the refs, weren't you?
Yeah, he just didn't. There wasn't anything major to get. He just didn't book Aurier.
He managed to get simple things wrong.
There was a few. He gave a few goal kicks that were clearly corners.
Yeah. That
kind of thing, and he was a bit off it, to be honest. Anyway, he doesn't give the penalty. VAR looks at it and gives the penalty, and we're watching, and we have the luxury of a screen, and it is a penalty. I think Dean Smith.
I mean, I initially thought it was a penalty straight away.
Yeah,
and then obviously we could see the video back because of where we were sat. And I, again, thought, yep, that's a penalty. If we hadn't have got that, I'd have been kicking off big time. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's a dodgy decision because Martin Atkinson's got it wrong.
Yeah, well, Dean Smith said, unfortunately, we'll end up talking about VAR because I thought it was a good spectacle. Two teams going toe-to-toe trying to win the game. He was annoyed about it. He basically said that
I disagree with him there.
So do I. He said it wasn't obvious and therefore it shouldn't have been reviewed. I disagree. I think that's the point of VAR. It got the right decision in the end.
He came through him and got something on the ball in the end, but he's come mightily through him.
Totally. To me, it's a penalty. The problem is, then you look at the Harry Maguire one from yesterday.
I haven't seen it. I've heard about it.
But it's a total blatant VAR review, and they don't change it.
It's the consistency. That is the problem still.
Totally. So I don't disagree with the VAR use.
No,
Martin Atkinson missed it.
I'd like to, but I don't.
That's it. And
I agree with most things Dean Smith says in his post-match, but I did disagree with that completely. I thought it was a penalty.
I agree. And then Son steps up. Reina, decent side, not a great penalty, but Reina gets his hand to it. And then Son is the first one, and Ali's the second one to follow it up, and it ends up in the Villa net.
Gilbert was somewhere in the vicinity, but no one else was really.
Gilbert's the only one that looks like they're reacting, and that is unforgivable for me. You know, there's nothing else for you to do except.
I mean, Son's got a head start, we should say.
Yeah, of course, Son should be favourite to knock that in. But the fact that nobody is even close, what are you doing?
I mean, Reina's reaction says it all.
Reina's absolutely furious, grabs his shorts,
give himself a wedger.
Yeah, and he's rightly furious. He's done his job there, and he's almost there to the second ball as well. The fact that it just is so frustrating that nobody is even close, apart from Gilbert. What are you doing?
Yeah, and again, you can tick off the bad habit. Goal on half-time. Tick.
Goal on half-time, goal on full-time.
Goal on set piece.
What a horrible afternoon it was, apart from with you.
I mean, I had a nice day.
Yeah.
As always, as most of the times at the Villa, you have a nice day, except for the game. Even if it's fair, actually, it's a nice day up to the 94th minute.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the game because it was a good game.
It was a good game. I mean, both defences were a bit iffy, and that made it quite a fun spectacle. I've spoken to a few people who are not Villa fans or Spurs fans, and it was a good game for TV. People enjoyed watching it. So we're there.
The neutral keeps saying, "Oh, you play nice football, you'll be all right." It doesn't correlate for me.
No. What I see quite a lot on social media is we're not in the relegation zone, therefore we're okay. We're so close. You know, we lose at West Ham on the last day of the season and we'll go down. You know, that's how close it is. It's so frustrating that we've been close to getting points at 1 point or 3 points, and each time we go back and either lose all three of them or settle for a point. And there's been so many times that season. I know people are going to say, well, Spurs are top four. We shouldn't be getting those results. We have to get some result at home because we're not getting them away, and then we don't beat Bournemouth.
We said it was the biggest chance of getting 3 points. I think the game proved that there was a chance there for 3 points, and I would never have said that we would have played as well as we did leading up to that game. I wouldn't have thought we'd have played like that because honestly, I thought we were in control in that first half, a large proportion of it. So annoying.
Yeah,
bloody football.
So the second half starts, and again it's lively. Villa have a couple of chances. El Ghazi with a couple of decent chances. Bergwijn for Spurs as well has a chance, and then Villa get the equaliser. 55 minutes in, good ball by Grealish, decent header by Engels. Doesn't really gets up and isn't really challenged. And it's again, why haven't we seen more of that? I guess we haven't seen much of Engels recently, but it's
seen much of set piece goals from defenders.
Exactly. That's and another thing we were talking about. Steve Bruce, they score set pieces.
Defenders are their top scorers.
You know, we need those goals and we haven't had them. But Engels gets in 2-2, clean slate for him. Having a good game, as I've said repeatedly after my third or fourth purity, and. No,
this is what happened. Before the corner, Villa obviously losing at this point. Tom says, I think Engels is having a nice game. And then we all turn around, because we're upset that we're losing, and we all go, oh, except for the penalty he gave away. And then you got some justification there with the equaliser. You were quite smug at that point. And then the running joke through the rest of the game was every time Engels did something nice, one of us would say, oh, Engels is having a nice game. And then unfortunately we all get left with egg on our face at the end.
That's it.
Yeah.
Frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I've said that word so many times this morning.
Probably said it so many times this podcast season.
Yeah. True. A few chances again for Spurs at 2-2. Eric Dyer has a chance. Son. I think
No memory of the Eric Dyer chance.
it came from. I think Dele Alli played him in and he just fired it. But Rayner's equal to it. I think Rayner had a decent game. He made a lot of good saves. I think closed down well. I really like the way he tightens angles, apart from the Son goal.
You can't have a go in for
But no, again, when you concede 3 goals and none of them were his fault.
Yeah, it's annoying for him. He's had a good day at the office. I don't know whether he got man of the match on Sky, but I've seen him give a man of the match in certain quarters.
I guess Sky would have given it Spurs.
Trying. Genuinely, all our goalkeepers, I just think that they're all very good goalkeepers. If the rest of the team was as strong as the goalkeeping department, we'd be okay.
Yeah.
Heaton, Rayner, Steer, Neeland, I like them all. Really, really like them all. And they've all had good moments in the last year or so. Just, we're not having good moments as a team at the moment.
The whole second half really was, I don't want to say end to end, but both sides had chances, didn't they, throughout? El Ghazi has a couple more
both had periods, rather like 10-15 minute periods, rather than it was end to end. There were times when I thought, Spurs are going to score here. They're just better than us. And then there were times when I was like, right, we've grown into this again. We've suddenly started to get Jack involved again. I thought the Samatta sub was strange. I thought the subs in general didn't really aid us. I
was just about to come on to Baston. We saw him for the first time, and I mean, his first touch, I think he gives it to Son, which is not ideal. He just looked a bit lost, I thought. A tough game to come into.
You're relying on people again. They haven't had much football. Like, you're getting these players in on loan, and they've not really played much football over the last few years. They're going to be rusty, and it's a hard environment to come into. I just think Samatta didn't look tired to me. I mean, I'm no expert. I'm not monitoring the little vest that they've got underneath the top.
No.
But do you know what I mean? Like we said it, he looks fine.
He looked fine.
He lost something when he went off.
But you also kind of touched on something earlier where it was like he wasn't creating the chances. He was making the runs, and maybe he was making space for El Ghazi and for Grealish.
El Ghazi came off for Trezeguet as well, and I thought El Ghazi was having a decent game again.
El Ghazi was one of our liveliest players,
It just seems to be the go-to sub, swap one of those two around.
Yeah. That does seem... It's like the kind of running joke, isn't it, that you do a sub at an hour, you do a sub at 70, you do a sub at 80, and the same players come off. And we've seen that happen before with managers. I didn't really think Smith was like that, but it does seem to have kind of slipped into that.
I think the Nakamba coming on made sense at the time. I think Tottenham had started to get a real foothold, and they were starting to play.
2-2 when he came on.
Yeah. I thought that made sense. Try and get a bit of control in the midfield, win the ball back a bit more. Obviously, Drinkwater will be getting. Some saying Matt doesn't look tired. Drinkwater did look tired.
Yeah.
But the other subs, just I don't think they helped.
No, I mean we get grief for the Connor bias. Do you think he would have made a difference in that kind of game, or do you think, like you say, you think Nakamba was the right move?
Hey, I think Nakamba was the right sub.
We maybe could have done with some creative. I mean, there was a free kick.
You'd have had to change formation.
There was a free kick at the end, which we could have done with Hurham taking.
The trouble is I don't think the formation does him any favours.
No.
I'm not saying he can't play in that midfield too, because a few people say this, if he plays there, he's too attacking and we'll get outrun.
Yeah.
But we get outrun anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
He looks after the ball better than anyone else, I'd say, that plays in the middle of the park, to be honest. But I can see why he's not getting in at the moment. I do think it comes down to the formation, does him no favours. So I think Dean Smith looks at him in that system and thinks he doesn't fit into that system.
Yeah.
He hasn't gone four in a row now. If Spurs had gone 3-2 up in the 75th minute, he'd have probably been on.
Right.
He definitely should have been born in the Bournemouth game. That was criminal. He should have been on in that one. But he'll be frustrated, obviously, at not getting on four times in a row, because I think he's our second top goal scorer overall, and he's not played that many minutes really.
Yeah, again,
he'll get himself back in at some point. After formational change, I think when McGinn comes back, the formational change, and the best football we played this season was with McGinn and Harahan, with either Louise or Nakamba behind them in a 4-3-3 and Jack on the left. So at some point he'll get in.
I saw a couple of people, Villa Mad and a couple of others, saying John McGinn now becomes our most important player, because when he comes back, he could be like a catalyst for...
when Jack came back last summer.
Exactly.
Last season.
When McGinn's back in that team and he gives you the energy, and he's a big personality as well, there's an opportunity there for the whole team to just have this bit of a lift for the last kind of final 5-6 games or whatever. Oh dear.
You never usually do that through the day. Through a whole day, don't usually finish the water.
It's not even 9 a.m.
You do the podcast, it's finished.
Well, you have to fill that bad boy up.
Oh, well, we're saving the planet, aren't we?
I was in the middle of a point. Sorry. I can't remember what it was. McGinn, he'll bring a bit of a lift, a bit of a kind of resurgence to this team.
Yeah.
Check your WhatsApp. Just finish.
No, I needed that. That was work related. Work related.
Sure.
Yeah, we need him back. He adds a different dimension to the side. He's been a big miss. You perhaps think over this period we might have picked up more points if he'd have been around. But you can't. You're going to get injuries and stuff, aren't you? You can't.
And we don't have a timetable for return, do we?
It's imminent, I think.
Is it?
I think he'll be back a week or two after the cup final. By the sounds of it. I know.
Would have been nice having him for the cup final. Fit
in the cup
ready.
final at the moment, almost like I want us to win the cup. Obviously, it's almost like I know it's like our next game, but staying up's just so important. I want to win the cup, whatever. Of course I do, but we just need to stay up.
Yeah,
otherwise you won't be watching McGinn next season. You won't be watching Grealish next season. Mings, that'll all be gone. That'd be a real shame. That'd be like losing M3 in one summer. It'd probably be as low as you've ever been as a Villa fan. We need to stay up.
Yeah.
I mean, we might well lose Jack anyway, but we need to stay up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this Grealish debate about whether he'll go or not, I put out a tweet saying I wouldn't begrudge him going in the summer. And I got more kind of criticism for that than I thought I was going to. I thought that was quite widespread, that like you'd wish him well and go on. A lot of people saying, and I see that point, keep your best players and make your team better. That it's not about the player. But I don't know. I see players like Gareth Barry or James Milner or especially Jack Grealish, who, I mean, he's just come on leaps and bounds again this year.
It's a short career.
It's been phenomenal, and I would love him to win things, and I love him to play for England. And I think, I mean, he's got to be in the next squad.
Yeah, but he has to be.
If we go down, he has to go.
Yeah, same with Mings.
But even if we stay up, somebody put on Twitter like the Matt Letizia argument that he stayed at Southampton and became a kind of legend there. But I would say staying at Southampton for Letizia harmed his England career. He didn't get as many games, and he obviously didn't win things. And Matt Letizia seems like a kind of a laid back fella that is all right.
He's just happy playing for Southampton.
Happy playing for Southampton, having McDonald's. But
with all due respect, he's not as good. Wasn't as good as Jack is.
He was a
different type of player.
He was a magician in his day, but it's a different type of player. You're right. I do agree with that. Sorry. Yes, we're coming to the inevitable, which it's a back and forth. The last 10 minutes, both teams have chances to win. I would say Spurs are probably on top, and their chances are more worrying than the Villa chances are.
Like we said at the start, we've already done the end, haven't we?
We have.
We did at the start. I settled for a point in my head. Initially, I was a bit annoyed because I felt like we could have won.
Yeah.
Going into stoppage time, I felt like there was a chance for 3 points there. We were obviously 1-0 up. Thought we played some nice stuff at times. But then you're like, okay, just take the point.
Yeah.
And then obviously we don't.
Engels, the ball goes under. Son, never going to miss that. It's a real gut punch.
Like resignation from us. He's running towards us. We know he's going to score.
Another Purity Ale tries to mask the pain. Doesn't. And then we have a long journey home. And then the trains are all cocked up in London. So,
lovely.
Good day.
It was a good day.
It was a good day.
We ought to thank Creative Shades for the hospitality that they gave us.
Yeah, it was lovely.
The gas lamp.
Very, very nice.
To catch a game with you before you go to Germany.
Yes, that was nice. It was nice to be back at Villa Park and looking forward to the live show. Being back there again.
So Wembley.
I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to Wembley or not. Which is,
you're looking forward to Box Park though, aren't you?
Can't wait for Box Park. So Villa now 17th, a point above West Ham and Watford. I didn't realise that was how tight it was.
Yeah, it's tight still. So
24 points for Watford and West Ham, Villa on 25, Bournemouth on 26, Brighton on 27, and then Palace on 30 in 14th place. It's still very, very tight, and this is what I mean. It could feasibly. Nick Dowling, I think, said, do you see it going down to the last game? Yes.
He's coming to the live event. I remember his name from the list.
Yes.
Yep.
I do see it going down to the last game.
Yeah, it probably will. And that'll be a horror.
And yeah.
I don't even know if I could bring myself to go to that with the permutations of it. I think it'd be too much for me.
It's away, isn't it? West Ham away. Oh my gosh.
Snodgrass winner 94.
I feel sick thinking about it.
Can you imagine?
Oh
Jeez.
dear. It's messy. It's very, very messy down there. And
I'm laughing about that because it wouldn't be funny at all.
No, it does. Tyler Hawkins says here, what's loss stings more, 2-1 to Liverpool at home or yesterday's 3-2 to Spurs?
By far. Maybe because it's more recent, but yesterday.
Yes,
Sorry, Sunday.
But this is... I'm sick to the back teeth of myself saying this. There are so many results where we could have got points.
Overall, I think the Arsenal away still annoys me more than anything.
West Ham, the 0-0.
Palace away.
Palace, where, we scored. That's very frustrating. Man U, we were playing well and beating Man U. There's so many.
There's loads. Bournemouth, the second game of the season, played well.
Yeah.
But give them a 2-goal head start. Gifts.
Too many gifts. Miles Osborne, surely the drink water experiment is over now. Harahan and Nakamba far more deserving of a start. I
think Louise is his number one midfielder.
Smith sees him in training, and he's obviously going with drink water.
He just wants to get him fit. I think that's the crux of the situation. Is he wants to get drink water fit.
There's not that much time left, though. What's the point in that? If he doesn't see drink water as the best option, all he's doing is getting him fit. That doesn't make any sense.
No, because I think he thinks over time he might be the best option.
We don't have time.
No, I know. I know, Tom.
Oh dear. A mess. There's lots of questions, and my notes are a bit of a mess.
We're running out of time as well.
And we're running out of time. I wanted to highlight the John McGinn sit-down interview with Prince William, which I found it a bit weird seeing that John McGinn doing something sensible.
You could tell he wanted to mess around.
Yeah.
Felt like he couldn't.
Yeah, totally. And the whole staging of it seems a bit weird. It's kind of like the kind of brick background. It just felt like it should have been in a changing room. But anyway, it's good. So check it out. It's on Sky Sports and on YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
It's definitely on Sky On Demand because that's where I watched it.
It's on Sky On Demand. And yeah, that's kind of it. Isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. It would have been a bit longer if it wasn't for the trains.
Yeah.
I need to go to work like now.
Trains cost us, so let's call it a day. We'll be in again next week, I think.
Yeah.
After Southampton, and then obviously the live show on Friday. If you haven't got tickets, there are a couple. So email the Villa View, and I'll try and sort you out. No promises on that, but the people that have already emailed and I've replied to, they are guaranteed. So I will send you those. That's it.
Yeah.
Stick with the Villa. Stick with the channel for the last couple of weeks. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.